Hello, my name is Ralph Ellis. I'm the Vice President of the OLBA and also the Grants Director. And today I'm going to be talking to you about the Ontario Senior Community Grants Program. There's $4 million out there in grants that's available for both small organizations and larger organizations. There are two streams. The application for items between $1,000 and $25,000 and Stream 2, which is more for provincial organizations that cover the whole province. That's from $25,000 to $100,000. What this program is designed to support are three strategic pillars. Initiatives that promote age-friendly community development, projects focused on strengthening the safety and well-being of older adults and seniors, initiatives that extend remote virtual outreach to isolated older individuals and expand seniors programs with the Seniors Active Living Centers Network, safe opportunities for older adults and seniors to network in the labor market, and increase engagement within communities through remote mentoring, volunteerism, and training to support entrepreneurship. Now, I'm going to give you some practical examples of what you can actually apply for later, but first let's get into some nuts and bolts on the grants. The application deadline is August 7, 2020. So basically, you're looking at getting all your material in by that time period. In order to apply, you must have a one key account with the Ontario government. How you get a one key account is described in the application guide, which is available for download with a link that I can provide. If you need the link, email me at ellis, E-L-L-I-S, at olba.ca, and you will also see links to the downloads on the OLBA website and also our social media. The projects must be completed between November 1st and March 31. So basically November 1st, 2020 and March 31, 2021. So you can't spend on projects for next summer, but you can spend on projects that you can complete over the winter time. 50% of the beneficiaries must be 65 plus, and seniors should be involved in the planning and implementation. That's pretty easy for our organization. If you've gotten a seniors community grant before, don't apply for the same things that you applied for earlier unless you can make a strong argument that you're running a different program. Stream 1, up to $25,000. You don't have to be incorporated. You can be incorporated or unincorporated. You can apply as an individual who represents a senior group, but you're going to need a letter identifying that you have the support of that group. And really, they're pretty flexible on this. You're not going to have any issues registering, because previously for this grant you had to be incorporated, but now that's not an issue. So most of the clubs will apply under Stream 1. Stream 2, $25,000 to $100,000, you have to be incorporated, but it has to be a program that can stretch across Ontario. So, for example, that's going to be the OLBA application. It could be an application for a district, but the district would have to be incorporated, and you'd have to indicate that you're going to run this program over a pretty wide geographical area. So most of you are not going to be interested in Stream 2, just in Stream 1. The things that you're trying to do, the increasing the safety and well-being of older adults, active outreach to seniors who may be isolated, and the virtual mentoring and volunteerism, these things can translate into a whole bunch of different areas. It can be supporting teleconferencing with your members. It can be supporting training with your members and courses. It can support development, let's say, of your website or social media, and being able to communicate with your members. It can also support things such as having PPE, protective equipment, and especially items dealing with COVID-19. They are looking for that. So if you're training your people on how to use the PPE or how to, again, be a safety monitor at your club, that would certainly qualify. The assessment criteria, the relevance of project is 35%, so how well do you tie into the strategic pillars? Organizational capacity, which is, are you able to deliver the project? For example, if you were doing a coaching program, it would help if you had a registered coach. It would help if your local people had some experience in running projects or running grants beforehand. But this can be worked on. If you have people who have had experience in other areas, in business or in organizations, you can certainly argue with that. Financial feasibility, can the goals be accomplished with the money that you've got? And the anticipated impact. Sort of how many people do you reach, how effectively do you reach them. Stream 1, again, you can be incorporated or unincorporated. You're going to need a letter of support from who the group is for. So if you're applying on behalf of your club, you need a letter from the club saying that, yes, we agree with this project and we're on board. The group must have been in existence for at least 1 year, and you need a letter from another community support organization to indicate that you've been around, and certainly we can, that's easy enough to find. Basically, it could be any sort of community organization in your area saying this group has been around, they do good work, they've been in existence for longer than a year. If you did apply for Stream 2, you can be incorporated, but must be not-for-profit, and you have to identify the area where you're trying to serve. Is it all of Ontario, part of Ontario, that sort of thing? And one organization can apply on behalf of a group or organizations. So a district could apply theoretically on behalf of a group of clubs, but you would have to be incorporated. Eligible expenses. This is very important. Things that you can get. You can get technology. You can get $4,000 for computers, laptops, desktops, and tablets. And for example, you can justify this by saying you're getting them for the sake of doing networking with your members at home, teleconferencing, training from online courses, developing marketing materials for use for your club. If you have received computers before from this program, you must show how your application is different this time. But keep in mind, you don't have to get just one computer or one laptop or one desktop. You can get a desktop and 2 tablets, or a laptop and 2 tablets, and find uses for them to, again, that fit into your program. You have to justify how they work into your program. For program expenses, any sort of fees for coaching or for mentoring programs. Let's say you were a registered coach and you want to take coaches under the NCP locker program. You could do that. Any training for your people that can be done online works. Anything to do with marketing, but marketing and promotional materials that are not portable assets. So I'll get into portable assets in a minute. You can do website development. A lot of you have very basic websites. You can pay someone to redevelop your website, redesign it. I would also suggest including a contract for maintenance in there, again, to bump up the dollar value. If you have employees, by the way, you can get 20% of the money towards staff wages to a maximum of $25,000, and that's, again, for stage 2. Now, one key issue here are portable assets. In both Stream 1 and Stream 2 in the Ontario Senior Community Grant Program before, 70% of OLBA club applications were turned down on the area of portable assets. Portable assets can only be 25% of a total project. This includes software, a printer, because printer is accounting technology, a PPE, protective equipment, any physical equipment that you're going to keep around that's going to stick around after the project ends is going to be tossed into the portable asset category. So you have to be very careful here. For example, in a $25,000 project, let's say you were going to have $5,000 where you're going to buy PPE and you're going to buy bowls and you're going to buy other things that were going to hang around a marketing display as opposed to flyers, for example. Then you would have to have $20,000 in expenses in other areas. So you'd have to have $20,000 for website redevelopment, for training, coaching. They do cover travel, but to be honest, it's pretty hard to justify travel in this environment to a conference, that type of thing. So really you're looking at things like website development and courses as areas to build up your expenses so that you can spend on portable assets. I had one club inquire whether or not they could do a service, let's say tree cutting or maintenance around their club, and we still don't know the response to that. If you have something that's unusual that you're not sure what category it falls into, you're going to have to contact the ministry. They're not fast in replying. My email responses have taken about a week to get to me. I would suggest that you call and that you sit on the line, and that number will be in the application guide. There are some things that kick in terms of ineligible expenses. You can't support events that violate social gathering limits. You can't apply for marketing or feasibility studies. You can't apply for capital projects, especially as it relates to buildings. So you cannot apply for renovations. You cannot apply for repairs to your building. Okay, so if you think you've got something that might get close to that category, either don't include it or get them to okay it before you apply for it. You cannot apply for furniture, healthcare equipment, religious events, office supplies not directly related to the program, grants to other organizations, gifts, flowers, shipping costs, legal costs, telephone bills. You can't do fundraising, lobbying, or sponsorship, and the HST is not eligible under this. So if you're buying things by the way of all of this, you're going to have to pay the HST at the end. So they will pay for things that are you can buy the computer, but the HST on the computer, that's going to be your expense. With this type of application, most of you are going to be focused on basically on stream one. So we're going to focus on that. What you're going to look for, but the most likely things you're going to look for are website redesign, coaches for your people, coaching for your people in different areas. Let's say you had your website redesigned and you wanted one of your members to do the administration on the website. You could train them to be a web administrator for the website, the webmaster for your site. You could also train people for other things like how to become a certified coach. You could have them take general coaching courses as well as just specific ones. If you needed some technology course related to the computer that you're going to apply for, then you could do that. Keep in mind that, so you've got website redesign, you have marketing items, like for example, if you're buying flyers, you buy flyers, but because of the way the program is structured, you can't, let's say, apply for a program that's going to exist outside of the limit. Like for example, if you're going to drop the flyers, presumably you'd have to have them before March 31st. You could have some left over and use them later on. So you could actually just use them to buy the flyers. You can spend on advertising. So for example, if you have a local curling club, you can spend on advertising with them, and that would be a legitimate expense because it's not a portable asset, and they do allow you to do marketing. So if you're located close to a curling club, that's indeed something you can apply for. Or let's say you wanted to apply at a community center or some other place that has physical activities going on about lawn bowling activities. But again, the program has to run and finish by March 31st, 2021. The portable assets are where you're going to have to be most careful because the things that clubs want, a lot of them want bowls, a lot of them want equipment for around the green, a lot of them want something for inside their clubhouse, let's say an audio system for their clubhouse, a speaker system, things like this. All of these sort of things would tend to fall into portable assets. And so for every dollar of portable assets, you have to have $4 elsewhere. So $4, this include the technology, courses, website redesign, and so on. This is typically how clubs have been disqualified. I have asked the ministry if they would pre-rule on a budget, where if we send them a budget and said, okay, are we over or under on portable assets? And asked them for ruling, they have not told me what their response would be to that yet. So what I would suggest is that you try to keep the portable asset purchases to not 25%, but more like 20%. So even if there is some issue or they reclassify something you see as being not a portable asset to being a portable asset, then you're still safe. If you're applying, you have not applied before, send a copy to me, ellis@olba.ca, so that I can look at it and see if I spot any problems, things that would disqualify you, or if I think you're over on portable assets. But especially for portable assets, if you're not sure, if you think something's on the borderline, then contact the ministry and say, is this a portable asset or not? Because I keep in mind, 70% of our applications were disallowed the last time just on this issue. And they were extremely tight in their definition. I had one club last time that was over by like $200 on portable assets in a $20,000 grant, and they were just bounced out. There was no chance to adjust. They didn't contact them and say, Do you want to reduce your amount here so that you qualify? Blah, blah, blah. It's just once you're disqualified, you're disqualified. So take a look at what you're interested in. Your best opportunity to build up the grant value so that you can have more portable assets is to spend more on things like website redesign or on courses and education. So seriously consider that. If you have a very basic website, you can get something that is fancier and more attractive to people who visit it. And with that, keep in mind that a more complex website will need maintenance. So if the company that you're buying the website redesign from does maintenance, maybe get a contract for maintenance built in there. Because contracts for services, they're okay. They are not portable asset purchases. But again, you're not allowed to do marketing studies or feasibility studies. So with all of this, you can contact me for assistance. Again, Ralph Ellis, Ellis at olba.ca, ELIS at olba.ca, and I will assist you for dealing with the registration for the Key One program in order to be able to do the actual application. That takes about 7 days. So don't leave that till early August to do. It's not hard to do, but there's some exchange of information back and forth. This, how to do this, is included in the application guide. And again, I can send you a link to download the guide as well as all of the forms. So don't wait on this. Get in your Key One account set up first. Do it now, and then we'll put together the application after that. And remember, especially applying for Stream One, you can go up to $25,000. So be creative, but remember the limitations in the specific areas. If you're especially over on portable asset purchases, you're gone. So we have to make sure that the program is balanced and meets the goals of the Ontario government for the program. Again, you're looking at combating social isolation, which again, video conferencing can do that. You're looking at running activities that fight social isolation. Like let's say you played cards at your club over wintertime. You can apply for things to support that, to notify people, do video conferencing. You can apply for PPE for the club. All these sort of things work in there. Anything to do with education, anything to do with bringing seniors together, anything to do with volunteering or mentorship. So you can work on this. If you do short map bowling, you can certainly work on something to do with that as well. So talk to me, and we will, again, get you through this. But it's time for clubs to actually get a move on this and get their applications together and at least think of what they would like to apply for. You're looking at, again, a reasonable time frame to do this. You can probably put this together in about a week if you get on it relatively fast, and then we can hopefully have a bunch of clubs use this very useful grant, and one of the few grants that lets you pay for advertising. So think about where you can do advertising, what's available to you, curling clubs, community centers, all that sort of thing. So good luck, and be sure to ask for information from both myself and the ministry, and we'll get everyone through this. Thanks very much, and we'll talk to you later on.